Joe today. Clouds covering the sun. It's a beautiful day today. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
The days get long out here at St. Joe. They can get hot. Coach Reed says it every day. He's like, you just got to show up and push through. I got the left too. Cut. Cut.
Thanks for coming out today, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, go Chiefs.
It is day 20 of training camp here in St. Joseph, Missouri, on the campus of Missouri Western State University. And yes, the Rams preseason game is on the horizon Saturday afternoon at Arrowhead. But they're not thinking about that at all here today. It's another day in pads and another day of grinding and another day we have added to our roster.
Let's go.
Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with, get this one, you ready for this? Director of editorial content. Director of editorial content and senior team reporter.
It's a heck of a title.
And Matt McMullen, by the way, and the Wolf of the West.
Yes.
Ari Wolf,
We're
incomparable.
back.
He
We're
is
back.
Your preseason television voice for the Chiefs Kingdom. All right, gentlemen, people think, okay, Rams preseason game. None of that is being thought here. There'll be a little bit of a pivot tomorrow for sure on Friday. But this has been a grind, Matt. Being another day in pads, they just keep pushing.
This is a third padded practice in a row, I believe. We had a day off before the stretch started, and before that it was 4 padded practices in a row. And it's hot out here. We got lucky a few weeks ago with like 70-degree weather, but it's hot right now. It truly feels like the dog days. I joked around on our last live stream. I have no idea what day of the week it is. I just know we're back at camp. But the guys are grinding right now, getting through it. And like I always say, these are the days you find out who your best players are going to be.
Yep, for sure. And who can power through this practice. And again, a lot of third down work again today. And then, oh, wait for it, another long drive drill, which the guys all love. So, Ari, here we are 20 days into this. And trying to, you start to see some form and substance of a roster put together. Your observation?
Well, both. I feel like I'm looking from afar and a little bit from the inside now. This is when you build the culture, right? This is when you build the toughness. This is when you build the camaraderie. All the things that I love about Andy Reid's training camp are the things that build the foundation for the whole season. So you want it to be hot. You want it to be hard. But at the same time, I'd say coming into this camp, there's more questions than there have been in other years. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Who's going to step up in these preseason games? Who are the guys that maybe we're not going to talk about at either wide receiver or offensive line today that next week we are going to be talking about? So it's the time of year where someone's going to get a chance to make a play and maybe change the course of their entire lives. So for me, that's the exciting part, is what guys are going to go out there, make the most of the opportunity. Because, yeah, this is the grind part, but showtime is on Saturday.
Yep.
And for a lot of these guys, it may not even be with the Chiefs, but this is their time to get something on film so the rest of the world in the NFL knows that they can play.
Yeah, your point's well taken. The different part of this camp, coming off a losing season, hadn't happened under Coach Reid.
Yep.
Now in his 14th season here, the Mahomes injury return, but then also the 2022 draft class. Matt and I have talked. They've now splintered other than George Karlaftis, and some guys were free agents. But then we're seeing these rookies start to emerge. We're going to look at 2 different position groups on this live stream, and we're going to start at wide receiver. And to me, you guys, for Saturday afternoon's game, of all the position groups, this to me is the most important for Saturday's game in and of itself. We have got to find some definition and get closer to some decisions, not just who makes it, but how many to keep. And we're going to go right down the line here with the probably top 7, I would say. And Matt, your thought overall on the wide receiver room?
Well, I think it's a room that has a lot of talent when it's healthy. We want to see them go out there and show off that talent, though. And notably, Cyrus Allen is a player that I'm excited to watch. Still coming back off that injury. He's been out here. I think he'll play on Saturday, but either way, throughout the preseason, we'd love to see what he can do, because before that shin injury last week, I mean, he was the story of camp, just lighting it up. But that was before the pads came on. Still looked good here the last couple days, but we'd love to see him in a game environment, see what he can do, because he's an awesome route runner. One of those players where I talk about how the draft, I think, is overanalyzed a little bit. Doesn't have the fastest 40 time, not the biggest guy, but look at the best receivers in the NFL. It's guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, not big guys, not blazing speed, but they get open and can run routes. I think Cyrus Allen can be that kind of player.
Kind of a crafty guy, right? A crafty guy. I guess for me, it's Andrew Armstrong. He's the guy who, during camp, I think has flashed enough. We're curious, what's he going to look like, right? We're going to get out at Arrowhead. What will he look like out there? But, boy, he passes the eye test. I mean, you're down on the field. You look at the guy, you're like, that guy could play receiver in the National Football League. But I want to see it. But he's got a lot of the ingredients. But can he be a guy that is really a part of the rotation? Because I do worry about the health of the top guys. You know, can Xavier Worthy stay healthy? Can Rashee Rice stay on the field? Because if they don't, one of these guys we're talking about at 5, 6, or 7 are going to have a significant role. So I think when you look at the overall wide receiver group, the most important thing to me is depth. If you put all these pieces together, Mitch, and they all have the best year of their career, this room's going to be just fine. But that's a big ask.
Big ask. We talked about that. The ceiling is there, but can they hit that ceiling and do it on a consistent basis? This goes back to Matt, to your point. We're going to circle back to Andrew Armstrong because Matt had a chance to talk to him. But let's talk about the guys that people know about, including Tyquan Thornton.
Yes.
But here's my thesis with this group, and this goes back to Matt's point. Somebody's got to catch the 3rd and 6 slant for 8. Somebody's got to be reliable. So Pat has that trustworthiness. Let me just give you some stats. Devontae Adams last year, 85% of his catches were first downs. Now, those weren't all long bombs. Okay. When you look at, we talk about the Puka Nacuas, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 22 of his 28 catches on 3rd down were for first down. Even Jamar Chase, you think of as a deep ball guy, 21 of his 28 3rd down receptions were for first downs. And I think that's the category we're at. Can Xavier Worthy do that? Can Tyquan Thornton do that? And Rashee Rice, can he do that? And Matt, your thoughts on that alone, because to me that's the litmus test.
Well, I think Rashee was that guy early in his career, and before he got hurt, I think he was that guy. Think about that Ravens game in the regular season, the opener in 2024, where he was basically an extension of the running game. One-on-one against linebackers, it's no contest. We haven't seen him healthy like that in a while, still coming back off the injury last year. Had the cleanup surgery in the offseason, but I think throughout this camp we have seen him get better and better every day, look more comfortable out of his breaks. So hopefully that can continue, because we know the kind of player Rashee can be when he's healthy. We've seen it before. I mean, do we win the Super Bowl in 2023 without Rashee? I'm not sure that we do. No. And was leading the league in basically every category in 2024 before he got hurt. Now that he's back and hopefully going to be healthy for this season, let's see what he can do.
Yeah, how many, you look at it, he's missed 20, or he's played 28 games of a possible 51 and only 12 of the last, and a possible 34 in the last 2 years. You just want to see it over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But his skill set is there to be that guy, right? You can get him the ball on a 2-yard route, and he can get you the 8 or 9 yards for the first down. He's someone who can make guys miss in space, and he can run over a guy. Again, he's the guy, to me, is the most important part to that wide receiver room, because if he can be the best version of Rashee Rice, he is your guy on 3rd down. And
who gets the confidence vote from Patrick Mahomes? And to your point, Cyrus Allen is working to get there.
Yes.
A guy like Jalen Royals, your thought, 2 catches. But we saw the 30-yard kickoff return against Baltimore, and we're going, yeah, that's the guy we saw at Utah State blow it up. What about a Jalen Royals, how he enters this picture?
Well, I like him a lot. Look, you kind of drink the Kool-Aid. I had like 5 of his games at Utah State.
Which is why I'm asking.
Yeah, like,
you got the egg and colors on.
Yeah, like against college level competition, he was a total game changer. Between not only just the speed, but what he could do physically after the catch. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he is physically strong. So can he emerge as that guy? I think that Thornton, to me, is sort of, he's the X factor, because I don't think that people's expectations are that he can be the guy that's trusted by Pat. But why not? Because someone's going to have to be that guy, right? They're going to have a bunch of 3rd downs. And after we get 4 games into the season, we're going to know who Pat trusts. But I think at this time of year, every guy's kind of auditioning for Pat's trust, and Pat's always going to say the right thing about we got all the horses we need. But that, to me, is a room that wouldn't shock me if it evolves. It doesn't look exactly the same week 1 as it does when we get to the end of the year.
We've not talked at all here about Nico Remigio, because in this discussion where fans, and sometimes we're even guilty of speaking parenthetically about special teams. We just throw it in. Hey, 30 seconds left in the segment. And you go, oh, yeah, special teams. No, no, no. This goes to the top of the first paragraph of this discussion.
Yeah.
How many do you keep? 6, 7. If you keep 7, 5 or 6 or 7, those guys, Andrew Armstrong, we see Nico Remigio, the 63-yard kickoff return started the run in the playoffs against Houston. The 41-yard punt return led to a AFC championship victory over the Buffalo Bills. So you had a chance to talk to Andrew Armstrong, but before you get to that, what about Nico Remigio? Because these guys that we're talking about must be special teams contributors if you're 5, 6, or 7, and I mean 4 core guys.
Yeah, we can't take stability on special teams for granted, especially in the return game, because think about over the years, maybe when we didn't have that stability, and we got Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. He's going to go out there and lead a game-winning touchdown drive. Well, you can't do that if you fumble the punt or fumble the kickoff, right? You have to have stability back there, and Nico gives us that. Nico is a great example of why this time of year matters.
It does.
He was an undrafted free agent several years ago. Nothing promised or guaranteed to him, and showed out in training camp and in the preseason, and eventually earned a spot on this team and kind of carved out a role for himself. I think Nico has looked really good throughout this camp, and he continues to get better and better. But with that all in mind, a guy like Andrew Armstrong is exciting because, again, had nothing promised to him coming into this camp. Had to earn every opportunity. A reserve future free agent. Was in the league last year on a practice squad but didn't play in any games. But he has an awesome attitude about him, and I had a chance to catch up with him a few days ago. Check it out. All right, down here with Andrew Armstrong. Andrew, it's your first camp with the Chiefs. How are things going so far?
Oh, it's been going great. You know, just being out here playing football, you know, love for the game. Like, it just being back out here and just getting to do with my teammates, getting in touch with the coaches and things like that. It's just been really amazing and fun.
You've been making plays out here the entire camp, looking really good. I'm curious, though, I'm sure you watched Patrick Mahomes from afar when you were in college and your first year in the league. What's it like catching passes from him?
I can't even explain. Like I said a while ago, this was my favorite team when I was little. So growing up, seeing him when he first got here, and now I'm on the field catching passes with him, like it's like I almost want to say a dream come true, really, for real. Like, but it's been fun.
Yeah, that's right. Is it your uncle that's from Kansas City, or what's the connection?
Oh, my whole dad's side of the family's from Kansas City. Like, my dad, he grew up Kansas City, Missouri. His brothers, my aunts, my cousins, my big brother from here. Like, it's really everybody except for my mom's side. He was from Texas, but my whole dad's side is from Kansas City, Missouri.
You're gonna have some family at the game on Saturday?
Oh, yeah, definitely gonna be there at the game.
That's awesome. Well, you're making the most of your opportunity out here. I think your story is cool because you began at Texas A&M Commerce, a smaller school. You kind of earned your way to Arkansas. How's that prepared you now for trying to earn a spot on this team?
Oh, it's prepared me a lot because I know in my life, like, nothing is ever given. Like, everybody's journey is different. So if I'm looking at somebody else like, oh, he made it in 4 years or he made it in 3 years, like, I can't really harp on that too much because I know my journey is my journey. So when I got here, I just, like you said, make the most of my opportunities and just be the best player I can be when I get on the field.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, awesome stuff there from Andrew Armstrong. I always think it's cool when a guy like that has family in Kansas City. Like, you look at his bio, it doesn't say he's from Kansas City, but you talk to him a little bit. He grew up a Chiefs fan because of all of his family here in the Raytown area or Independence, like right around the stadium, and now he's going to play at Arrowhead. Pretty cool.
And he said, he talked to the media yesterday, and he said, look, I'm going to have a ton of family here. I mean, again, it's the preseason. I get that. But these kind of moments, to me, resonate. Because, again, you don't know what the future holds for that guy, but he's going to get to play for his childhood favorite team in Arrowhead with his family there. How cool is that?
Doesn't get better.
It's Saturday afternoon. It's a Super Bowl for this kid.
Right. I would try to remind everybody, for a lot of these guys, it's the Super Bowl on Saturday.
So let's take the Andrew Armstrong discussion even a little bit further here. Because you talked about Nico and being stability on special teams. I'll see your stability, but raise you to explosiveness. There has to be some explosive plays in special teams, and that just not returns. That means shifting field position.
Yes.
That means blocking a kick. That means covering a kick. That has to be done. And here's where Andrew Armstrong enters this discussion. In another area, if you keep 7 wide receivers or 6, Andrew Armstrong, his size, when you look at 6'4", 210, and you say it passes the eye test, he almost can become a 4th tight end.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So He can play in line because he's big enough.
Yep.
All right. That's not going to be Xavier Worthy playing outside the tackle. But Andrew Armstrong potentially gives you that element, and that seems to be a very important element.
Right. I think all across the board, explosive plays are going to be key. And if you can find it in areas where maybe the defense is preparing and you're not thinking about Andrew Armstrong, right? But he could be a guy who make explosive plays. He could be a guy who could maybe fly under the radar for a little bit. Look, we know how the league is. Everybody's watching everything. It won't last long, but explosive plays will be key for this team. Everything cannot be on 15 shoulders. The running game has to be good. Remember this. If the running game's as good as we hope, and Walker's everything, and he delivers, and he's that alpha running back, all these receivers will look better, I can promise you that.
And we can't just crop dust. You've got to find gunners in this room.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You've got to find flyers in this room. Those are the DBs and the wide receivers. Is that Jalen Royals? Is that Andrew Armstrong? And I love the fact that he was now it's East Texas A&M, and I got to get that right, or Patrick Mahomes will rebuke me, because this is his part of the country, right?
Yep.
It's over there near Tyler.
And my boy's the head coach there, Clint Dozell, so it's very important to me that you get the name right.
And a great program, a great program. But now they're East Texas A&M, for those of you who are interested in going to school there. But the fact that, and you talked to him about that, how it kind of molded him before he got to Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Nowadays, the reality is some athletes kind of come into the league thinking they've made it already. Usually doesn't end well for those guys. Andrew Armstrong is not that guy. He grinded at Texas A&M Commerce and whatever it's called now, and earned his opportunity to Arkansas. Led the SEC in receiving during his final year at Arkansas. Showed that he belonged there, but then doesn't get drafted. Now it's another opportunity for him to show, hey, I belong in this league, and so far he's showing it.
There's 14 wide receivers in this camp. And we've talked and highlighted 7. There's 7 more that you're going to see, and Ari will talk about, and I'll talk about, and Matt will be on the sideline about on Saturday afternoon. So there will be guys, it'll be crock pot guys, right? The slow cooker guys you put in there. But we've talked about the 7 that seem to be near the top here, or that deserve the most discussion, at least to this point. But there are others, but we'll talk about that when they get into the game on Saturday afternoon. And reminder that all of our programming here, what we've done with Defending the Kingdom, what we've done with our live stream, is brought to you here in St. Joseph by Mosaic. Mosaic Life Care, they are the presenting sponsor of training camp here in St. Joseph. They're incredible. Matt, I'm telling you, Mosaic has never been better in this camp. They just keep, and we see Joey Austin, and we see, going down the line, you see Chris Larson and others, but they've been phenomenal here.
Yeah, they've been absolutely awesome. We talked about this last time, but the infrastructure is so important to make all of this work. We just show up. We don't have to do anything. They make everything happen for us in terms of making sure everyone's hydrated, making sure everyone's fed. Just can't thank them enough for everything, and they really take care of us. We're lucky.
And for the fans and the players, if there's a player that needs immediate attention, and the hospital's just 5 minutes away.
Yep.
And it's an awesome group here. So Mosaic is our official presenting sponsor of training camp. Now we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot to another obvious, very important group. And my edict is this: find me a good football team with a bad offensive line.
Hard to do.
You can't find it.
It's hard to do.
So once you find it, Ari, let me know. It'll be the first.
Yes.
It'll be maybe in the Mountain West. There's somebody in there that you get. But here's my point: if you're going to be a good football team, you have to have at least a good offensive line. If you're going to be great, you need to have a great offensive line. I'll start with you, Ari.
Okay.
This is an interesting group. There are 15 offensive linemen in this camp. We have seen a little bit of this and that, but your thoughts overall on the offensive line?
Well, like 4 of the 5 spots I think everybody feels good about, right? I mean, you got Simmons at left tackle. He's going to be the guy hopefully for the next decade. Suamataia, right? He has really established himself as a legit left guard. Creed's Creed. I mean, you take it for granted the guy is just a rock, right? I mean, he just is what he is. You got Trey. So then it's at right tackle. There's good competition there. Whatever you hoped that Jalen Moore was going to be, it's not that. But he has a valuable role to play on this team. Is he the swing tackle? Is Khalil Benson the guy? Is Khalil Benson also a guy who's got the versatility we're seeing right now to then go play right guard? Out of all the guys, Benson's the one that's really flashed. He's the guy that nobody had any real expectations for. Look, there's nothing Andy Reid does better than coach offensive line. So he finds a guy that he likes. He's going to put him right in there. I think a lot of people were surprised how many first-team reps Benson was getting. So he's the guy I'm most bullish on, mainly because it seems like Andy's bullish on him. Whatever Andy's, if Andy's good with it, I'm good with it. Then I'm curious about the depth. I do wonder about the depth in the interior. Are they good enough there? Are the backups good enough? Because if this team's going to make the commitment to run the football, these guys got to be road graders. Andy Reid teams traditionally have leaned towards the pass. I think that this team is going to have to be really balanced to be the best version of this offense. So I'm curious to see, it's easy to say I want to run the football in the preseason, but the question is, you're in week 5, and in the first quarter, you run it 8 times for 16 yards. Do you stay committed to it? Because the run game pays off in the fourth quarter, guys. It doesn't often pay off early. So to me, that's the biggest question mark is I think he's got the hosses to do it. But is the commitment going to be there to have a truly balanced offense? Because when I foresee the best scenario is this team has better balance than it's been and has way more explosive plays in the run game. If that happens, this team can do great things this year.
Yeah, you just described the 2025 Seahawks is what you described.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, when we look at the top 3 stories of this camp, one would be Pat's health, right? It's been phenomenal. We look at that. Then we've looked at K9, Ken Walker, can be transformational. It's just your point, and not just the run game, but the pass game. But you could really argue the third story of this camp is Khalil Benson.
Yeah.
And the fact that he came undrafted, not only an undrafted free agent, he showed up on the tryout day. It wasn't the mad phone call where you call and everybody's calling everybody after the draft ends. He shows up like Cooper McDonald with cleats over his shoulder. And now he's could be a starter.
Yeah, not just a rookie, but an undrafted rookie who was a tryout player. So the way rookie minicamp works is after the draft is over, you sign 20 or so undrafted free agents. And those are priority free agents that maybe could have been drafted, didn't get drafted. You make sure they come to your camp, and they're signed, and they're going to be here in training camp. Khalil Benson shows up among 70 other tryout players with no guarantee beyond that weekend. 70 of them. And really, it's hard to even stand out because you only have 3 days, hour-and-a-half long practice. How does anyone stand out in a time like that? But Benson clearly did. And that's one thing. To then come to this camp and with pads on to be out there against guys like Chris Jones, guys like George Karlaftis, and to play pretty good football is simply remarkable. And it shows that as refined as the whole scouting process is across the NFL with both teams and the public, sometimes you just miss on a guy. Clearly this guy can play, and he's here in our camp.
Well, I get it when you miss on a guy who plays Division II or Division III. When you miss on a guy in the national champions, it seems like, well, what happened? How did he fall through the cracks? But it's a wonderful thing for the Chiefs. But, the Chiefs people were even telling me, they're like, look, it's not like we were on this guy, right? I mean, this guy kind of fell in our lap.
And he earned it.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to be a little bit lucky. Yeah. And, could you imagine this guy becomes a cornerstone piece? It really also helps you with the cap for the next few years. So, like, you can get an undrafted guy to become a starter. That's winning in the NFL.
Yeah, and think about who he played against, because you go and watch his tape, and oh, God, it's Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's Miami and Florida. And
Oregon.
Think of the dudes that were on those teams that he played against. So if you're going to get kind of NFL ready-ish, that's a pretty good path to do that. So again,
don't forget the Hurricanes, too.
Oh, yeah,
you play against the Hurricanes, you're playing against future NFL guys.
And to me, the big news was when Trey Smith went down with his hip injury, he moved to guard.
Yeah.
It wasn't they put in Kelly. So, again, Khalil Benson, it becomes a story for Saturday afternoon game.
Well, yeah, Mitch, here's the key is we can talk about how it's really cool he's out there right now, but let's go see him play a game. That's the next step for him.
Oh, and against the Rams front, now that's a talented roster.
It is.
1 to 90, right? That's a bunch of dudes on that roster. So, to your point, Matt, it will be a good litmus test. And Matt knows this. We've talked about it. But the me that's ascending that has stood out to me is Kingsley Suama'Autia.
Yeah.
And we know at tackle 2 years ago, it was rough.
It was.
Got pulled from the game like an early starter in baseball, giving up 6 runs in the first inning.
You're out.
He's now found a role. Might be a closer to give the baseball analogy, but he's been really good at guard. When you look at Trey Smith being a Pro Bowler and you look at Creed being Creed and the all-pro center in this league, Suama'Autia, Kingsley is showing signs he could get to that level and get there very soon. And one of the things about this offense is linemen, particularly the guards and the center, in Creed's case, you've got to move.
Yeah.
Whether it's screens or stretches or kickouts, or you've got to be able to move. If you're just a stiff, big dude bulldozer guy, it's not going to work in this offense. Kingsley's showing us something.
And he'll play this entire season at 23 years old.
He's 23.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Andrew Armstrong. He's 26.
Yeah.
Andrew Armstrong, he played 6 years of college. He's 26. And we're looking at Kingsley at 23.
And it's so easy when maybe a guy doesn't have a lot of success initially, you just write him off. You can't do that, particularly when they're young like this. So it says a lot about Kingsley that the whole tackle thing didn't go as planned, but hey, we're going to put you at guard. We think you can thrive here. And he accepted that opportunity and that challenge, and he's thrived.
Let me add something to it, and this is one of the most unspoken things in the National Football League, and it's an issue for me. It's player development. Whatever the guy shows up as, what does he look like 2 years later? What have you done as a coaching staff to make that player the best possible player he can be? I don't think we talk about it enough. I think you go through training camp and then you just decide, okay, but he's an 8. This guy's a 7. That's the whole season. It's over with. No, you get better during the season. In his case, you end up 2 years later learning a different position where you're now a guy who could be a Pro Bowl type player. So I don't think we focus enough on what the coaches do, and that starts with Andy Reid. Player development, you get what you get, but then what do you do with that player?
That's an excellent point. And to me, in the league, over the years I've seen, it's offensive linemen where that point is made the most.
For sure.
That is your developmental place. And so had a chance to catch up with Kingsley earlier this week. And again, this is a guy that is on the rise. Kingsley, it just feels like you're on this upward trajectory. In watching you, how much better is it this year in getting more reps at that spot?
It's just a blessing for real. You know, now it's my second year playing guard. Just being able to just play fast out there with the boys and keep the competition going between everybody. So it's been good.
Well, it's been awesome to see Ed and Ken Walker, but what that means, because you guys can all move. What does that do to have him behind you? Screen game, even stretch games or counter game?
Man, it just gives us a bigger chip on our shoulders, you know, not only blocking the best quarterback in the league, but now having K9 in the backfield. So, man, we just love to eat. We hear run play, man, let's go, because we know we got K9 back there and he's going to make some stuff pop.
What'd you have for priority of going into this year of like, I'm going to work on these things in my game?
I think just being more technique sound. Last year was my first year playing guard, so just fixing the little things and in the playbook, most definitely, so I can play fast out there. So,
what fans don't realize is you have to work in concert. I'm watching you OLD all line, combo blocks, twists. How much have you learned in handling that?
At guard, things happen a lot faster, so just being able to see things, be on the same page with your tackle, so you guys can see the same thing and block the same person, so it's going good.
Again, excited, and a great point you made about developing players in this league. It's also admitting that you have to make an adjustment, because Kingsley coming into this league was thought to be a tackle, maybe a left tackle. But when you make the adjustment and say, you know what, let's make him a guard, and you have to be a little bit humble in that regard of like our initial analysis might have been off.
Yeah.
But now it's on. I'm super excited about Kingsley.
He's embraced that opportunity, and he's super talented. We know he can do this. I think it's cool that in Week 18 of a couple years ago, his rookie year, went up against Zach Allen, the first time he ever played at guard, because we played a lot of backups and we're experimenting with some things. Went up against Zach Allen on the Broncos because Denver needed to win that game. Didn't allow a single pressure the entire game. And afterward, Allen went up to him and said, hey, you're pretty good at this. And he used that kind of as a springboard into last season and now this year. Pretty cool.
And it takes it's not just on the staff to recognize, okay, whatever our vision was for this player may have been wrong, and you got to check your ego at the door, right? You're building a roster. The player has to buy in, right? The player has to say, I trust you guys that this is where I need to be. So it's not just the team recognizing it. The player has to be all in, and that goes to what you're building as a franchise. That's the culture where you look at these guys who are running this thing and you say, I trust Andy Reid. I trust Brett Veach. So I think for Kingsley, he's like, these guys have my best interest, and wow, has it turned out for him.
The other part of this offensive line discussion, and I love it because you study the league more than we do. We'll study the opponent that week or get ready, but we've seen the prevalence of the sixth offensive lineman. It used to be you'd see it like the moons of Meepzor, right? Oh, wow, it's 64. He's
How does he come up with
these
this
references?
Stuff?
So good.
They're out there, the moons of Meepzor. But an old Saturday Night Live reference. But now we're seeing it be a base offense for teams in our own division. And so for the Chiefs, finding that guy, is that Hunter Norzad, is that Mike Caliendo? We talked about Jalen Moore.
How about
Pete Niagara becomes a
part of
discussion,
that.
and that's a big part of Saturday afternoon, I think, to watch him. And Matt, on the sideline, he watches the offensive line with an eagle eye. He sees things we don't see.
I'm just trying not to melt down there.
But to be serious, think of what Nick Allegretti meant to this team.
For sure.
Either to fill in at guard when Tooney got hurt, but to be the 6th guy. And it's not just short yardage anymore. Sometimes people are doing it on the first down. So I'll start with you, Ari, in that to find even fans don't think about the 6th offensive lineman who's lined up as a tight end.
Well, it's key, right? A few years back, the running backs were devalued, right? Nobody thought running backs were important anymore. Nobody was playing under center. Look at how the league has now evolved. It's always changing.
That, I think.
It never stays the same. So going jumbo, if you want to call it that, having that 6th guy, like running the football and having better balance is in vogue in the league. And it's a copycat league, right? Even here, this is the first year I've ever come here where the main focus has been talking about how important the running game is. So I think it tells you where the league is and that who that 6th guy is going to be. I think we'll learn a lot on Saturday. But as someone who sometimes likes a low-risk offense, having that 6th guy in there, the things you can do there, it's low risk. And, again, I'm all about it's a war of attrition in a 60-minute NFL game. If you can be more physical, it may not show up in the first, second, or third, but I promise you in the fourth quarter, if you're the more physical team, it'll help you win the game at the end.
And here's what's funny as we do this, guys. 11 on 11 is going on right behind us, and they're working on the run game, working on screens. It's perfect. You know, you could ask any offensive lineman, what's the best way to make sure you have a good offensive line? It's to run the football.
Yeah.
I've talked about how having Ken Walker and this explosive running game is going to change everything for this team in a multitude of ways. But by instilling that doubt in the defense about what's going to happen next, are they going to run the ball here in any situation? Are they going to throw the ball? Are they going to use play action? The offensive line can use that to their advantage, and that's what I'm looking forward to this year.
But you can run the ball, but you can all just plow it and get 2 yards. The Chiefs have had, this is a stat of the day, we've talked about it before, 1 40-yard run in 3 years. One. And it was in September of 2023. Ken Walker can do that every time he touches the ball, even if it's designed to be a 2 or 3 yard play. So can some of the other running backs in the room.
DeMercado with Arizona, when he got the rock, he was a big play waiting to happen.
He has 5 40-yard plays.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and we've seen Brashard Smith grow into that, but it starts with the guys up front on the offensive line. Okay, Matt, we're going to close things out, and Ari, want to give you some time here too. But overall, where we're at right now on this Wednesday, 20 days into this, and then all of a sudden there's a little bit of a pivot to looking at the Rams for sure on Friday, but there's nothing about the Rams today.
No, a bit of a lighter practice tomorrow as well, and then the game on Saturday. And really for me, one thing I'd love to see in the game, in addition to a win, because we joke around, we've not seen a preseason win in a couple of years.
I'm going to get a T-shirt made.
Yeah, we need
it's
it.
It's going to have Ari's face on it. It'll be Ari's face of like.
But how do we get there? How do we get there? It's with the offensive and defensive lines being dominant. So if we're being honest, the last couple of years, we have not seen dominance from our offensive and defensive lines in the preseason, particularly as the game went on. I would love to see both lines really dominate on Saturday. Give me a great feeling moving forward for this season.
My parting thought is, gentlemen, last year when you invited me to be a part of Defending the Kingdom, I've gotten to do a lot of cool stuff in my career, but being embraced by an organization to be a part of the football side, talking about this team means the world to me. You two guys are the guys that brought me in. I have so much respect for both of you. I know Chiefs Kingdom loves you guys, but you guys don't realize how good you've got it. 2 of the all-time best guys I've ever met. I can't wait to be back on Defending the Kingdom, and frankly, I just love these 2 guys.
We love you, buddy.
You're the best. Or if not, you're in the playoffs. But the best part of that, Wolf of the West, was the map you had behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had the Philippines in the wrong hemisphere. When you put that map up every episode, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, that's where Mongolia is. Yeah.
You got to know.
Yeah,
look, like I wanted to be like a history teacher in high school. I just missed my calling, and here I am talking Chiefs football
phenomenal.
with you guys.
I couldn't wait for the episode to go, what's he got up there? But your knowledge of football and to see it collegiate level and the pro level and to see it, sometimes you're great for us because we're in the middle of the forest, right? But sometimes an outside-in look at 30,000 feet in the air is really good for us and adds a lot. I'm going to add this to the Saturday game. My big deal is going to be third down. Third down. Because the third down problems on defense that we struggle with, and Spags admits it, started in the preseason.
Yeah.
And really the last 2 preseasons, but for sure it was in the preseason games.
Well,
3rd and 12, we couldn't get off the field.
The Seattle game last year, if you look back at it, actually kind of told us what the regular season was going to look like. Yeah. We didn't know Seattle was going to be that good, but if you watch that game back, the way they ran the football, a somewhat risk-averse offense, a great defense, and we struggled in that game. Then you fast forward to the end of the year, one team wins 6 games, the other guy's lifting the Lombardi Trophy. So I know the preseason is not the regular season, but there is huge value, not just for the players, but setting the tone for this organization for the 2026 season.
Yeah, so for me, third down on both sides of the ball, and a good test because the Rams have built a good roster.
Oh, yeah.
They're not
We
far
won't
behind.
see anybody in their top 2 deep, though.
No.
Nobody plays less guys in the preseason than Sean McVay.
But even their guys.
Yeah, no,
down
look,
the
it's a
line
talented
are-
roster.
It's a
It's
talented
like an
group.
all-star team they got right now.
So he's Matt McMullen. He's got a lot of jobs and a lot of titles.
A lot of
He makes
titles.
a lot of money. But so does Ari. So does Ari, right? A lot of titles, a lot of jobs, a lot of talent. I'm only Mitch Holthus, but thanks for joining us. And a big thanks to the folks at Mosaic because they are a presenting sponsor here at training camp in St. Joseph. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, get ready for Saturday afternoon, preseason game number 1. Hopefully we've given you some stuff to think about and get ready with your checklist for Saturday against the Rams. Thanks for joining us from here in training camp.